Hello everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we are going to be focusing on the Trinity Stamps April 2025 release, and let me tell you, it is stellar. Yeah, there's a hop. I'm going to have all the information linked down below, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. Here we have the tiny astronaut die. I also have the little tiny alien die there, but we're just going to be using the astronaut. He's so cute. I love how the packaging does have an idea for you so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you know how to put everything together. We're also going to be bringing in the out of this world stamps and dies that has matching dies also for the words. We have our Crater Layers stencil, which is so cool, and it also has dies to go along with it. And I love that that's a combination there because it gives you some versatility with that die as well. We are also going to be bringing in the Starfield letterpress. And yes, it's for your better press if you have one of those, but I'm going to use it to do some foiling. So let me build up my sandwich, my foil sandwich here, because that's the neat thing about the letterpress that for the better press is that you can also stick them in your Glimmer Hot Foil system. Now it isn't vice versa. If you have a Glimmer Hot Foil plate, they can't go through your better press. At least that's according to to Spellbinders, so I would just, take caution if you decide to do that. But with these letterpress plates, you absolutely can. So I built my sandwich. I had my plate. I put my pretty side down of my Aura foil, and then I put my navy cardstock on top of that. So now I've die cut out, just to save a little time, I die cut out all the pieces for my astronaut. I did that out of white cardstock because I planned to just color those with my alcohol markers. You could obviously very easily cut those out of some colored cardstock, but I decided to add a little depth and dimension by coloring them myself. And we're going to go ahead and color those while we wait for our Glimmer Hot Foil system to warm up. And as you can see, it has a red light there over on that right hand side. When the green light below it turns on, then I'll know my system is ready to go. But until then, it's not. I'm using the cool gray colors from my Olo markers, and I started with my darker and I'm blending out with my lighter, and then just kind of paying attention to the packaging. I decided to just make his whole astronaut uniform white, but his gloves are going to be a little darker. We're going to color up the part of his helmet. The green light did come on, as you can see, and so I'm going to hit the timer button here in a second. And then once that timer stops flashing, then we know that the plate is ready to run through the Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine. Okay, so we've colored his belt. We're going to color the front of his helmet. And then we're going to color some of the other little pieces. We're going to use some reds and some blues for those also. And then when those are done, our Glimmer Hot Foil system will be just about ready. So it stopped flashing. I'm going to bring in those plates. Those are the sandwich plates that you put on top to stick it through your die cutting machine. And once again, that's the Platinum die cutting machine. And I'm just going to roll that through, and then I'm going to be very careful because this is incredibly hot. So I've got a magnetic piece. I'm not actually going to use that. I peeled off my foil. You can see that it foiled beautifully. And then I'm going to set this off on that little silicone mat to cool down. All right, everything is good to go there. So we're going to move our Glimmer Hot Foil system out of the way. Next, we're going to add grab some liquid glue and some reverse tweezers, and we'll start piecing together our astronaut, just paying attention to the packaging or the front of what it tells you, how he goes together. And obviously you can follow that color combo if you want to. No reason to necessarily reinvent the wheel, or you can have at it with creative license and color him however you want to color him. Now, like I said, this is a part of a hop, so you're just going to kind of hop along and check out all of the videos that go along with this. There are prizes to be had. There's an Instagram hop. You're going to want to participate in all of that and see all the really amazing things that the team has made. I'm telling you, you're going to be so impressed. I, sometimes think, oh boy, look at me, I'm so creative. And then I'm reminded by the teams that I work with how absolutely incredible some of these guys and gals are at just coming up with amazing ideas. So be sure to hop around because you really don't want to miss any that they have to offer. It is, I'm just telling you. Or head over to, after you've hopped around, make sure that you head over to the Trinity Stamps store. And as you look at the new products, there's going to be lots of examples for all the new things that are out there. I tell you, I love looking through the galleries and checking out some new ideas for, the products that are out there. So have fun with that. We are just about ready to have him finished. There are a lot of little pieces here, especially for the front of his little power pack. And this is the part of his helmet. It's got two little pieces. I'm going to bring in my pickup stick, so that'll help me quite a bit. That's that little wax tipped tool that I'm always using. And then we've got his backpack. And then we have all those pieces that are just red and blue. And it looks like a mess on there. I think that's part of the reason I think it's fun to color up the pieces, because then you don't have to be quite as careful, as you can tell. But he's really coming together. He's so cute. So using my pickup stick, we'll put all those little pieces down there as well. And if you lose any of those pieces, don't panic. Go through your stash of embellishments. I'm sure that you can find something, or even use a marker, or, I don't know. I am sure that you probably have something if you happen to lose one of the pieces. I almost did. And I thought, well, it doesn't have to have that many dots on it. It can definitely be less. So don't panic. It's all good. I just got 3 more little red dots to put on there. And I've got the little blue line. I really did think I lost one of them, but turns out I didn't. All right, so last little piece, and our astronaut is done. He looks so stinking cute. I'm obsessed. All right, now I want to stencil our little crater on there. So I'm using a grip mat to hold my piece of white cardstock down there. And because I'm going to die cut this out, I'm not concerned about maybe having some of the ink transfer up to the other parts of the stencil. Typically, I would probably cover those, but I'm going to die cut this out. And as you can tell, Miles is here. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's decided to plop there just to hang out. That first color that I used was Lost Shadow. We're going to bring in some Hickory Smoke now. And these are very easy to line up. I'm using my blending buddies, my gray one for all the pieces of this one. And then there's one final piece to the crater. I'm going to move that down, and I'm going to use some pumice stone on that. Once I get that all lined up. And that's just really going to add that extra dimension to our crater. As you see, there's like a little meteor you could make as well. I think that's so cute. And it's just one stencil, but it's a set because there are dies to go along with it. All right, so yeah, you can see I did some shadowing up top, but I don't really care about that. We're going to go ahead and die cut this out using the dies that come with this. And so I'll just tack that down with a little bit of mint tape and run that through my die cutting machine. And then we'll be ready to move on to the next part, which is our sentiment. And that sentiment's going to come from the Out of This World stamp set. I'm going to bring in some gold embossing powder. I figured that would go so well with our aura foil that we used for our letterpress, our Starfield letterpress. And so I'm going to use a anti-static powder tool on my white cardstock. And then I'm going to get my powder ready. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this could be an absolute disaster. I have a cat on my desk. And I'm going to slow down here for you in a second because you're going to see another cat appear and cause all kinds of chaos because he jumps up on the desk. I'm telling you, I narrowly avoided an absolute disaster because he jumped up there to scare Miles, and he very easily could have kicked that embossing powder everywhere. I'm telling you. Oh, a day in the life, right? Okay, anyway, so I'm going to heat set this until it is smooth and melted. You'll be able to tell because it'll go from a matte finish to a shiny finish. And then I'll use the matching die that comes along with this one, or that you can get for this one, and I'll run that through my die cutting machine. I've got a card base that measured 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So it is an A2 size card base. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere down our navy background with those beautiful Starfield letterpress stars. And I'm going to go ahead and glue our little astronaut to the crater. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to use some foam tape. So I'm going to use some of these foam strips on the back. And I'll cut those down and just make sure that's completely covered. And I'll even put some on the back of the sentiment. And then we'll peel off the release paper, all of it. And then I'm going to put down our little astronaut. Oh my gosh, he just pops on that background. And then I will put down the cosmic birthday wishes. But I don't stop there. I am going to bring in some embellishments. I do need to trim down my panel just a little bit because my crater's a little bit long. So I'm going to use my guillotine trimmer. I don't trust myself to actually cut a straight line for some reason today. It has been one of those days. It has been one of those days. So we're going to use the guillotine trimmer. And now I'm just going to grab a few of these Goldrush flat-backed sequins, and I'm going to glue those down just to kind of cover up a couple of the stars that didn't really transfer as well, and that's okay. But it also gives a little bit of extra oomph, and I love the shine. Check out the shine on that background. Oh, I love this. So be sure to head down to my description box down below so that you can get all the details and hop along. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.